What comes to your mind when Scotland is mentioned? Tartan, bagpipes, whiskey, haggis, or perhaps Nessie? In this episode, we're going to talk about the mythical creature that has long been linked to the Scottish nation, the unicorn.
The lion and the unicorn were fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn all around the town.
Do you remember this nursery rhyme? The lion and the unicorn. Long thought to be rivals and natural enemies with each other, the ancient Middle Eastern myth tells the story of the lion and the unicorn as opposing forces, where lion the sun and unicorn the moon chase each other across the sky. Dating back to the 18th century, the English nursery rhymes lion represents England, while the unicorn represents Scotland. That's right, the Welsh dragon is not the only mythical national animal in the British Isles. The unicorn has served as a Scottish symbol for centuries. The first recorded link traced back to the 12th century, when William I used a unicorn in his coat of arms. It is said that after the Battle of Bannockburn, the iconic victory of Robert the Bruce's army over the English, led by King Edward II in 1314, the then King Robert adopted the mythical beast as the national animal of Scotland. When King James I returned to Scotland after 18 years in captivity in England, he created a new officer of arms, the unicorn Persuasion, to join the heralds at the court of Lord Lion. During the reign of King James III of Scotland, the unicorn were gold coins that formed parts of Scottish coinage between 1484 and 1525. His successors have all followed suit, and by the time of King James V's reign, a unicorn can be seen on coins, royal seals, and coats of arms, with not one but two unicorns to demonstrate power and strength. But surely unicorns are not real. Oh, but it was very real to the people back then. So much so, they even have a cookbook recipe for how best to cook the magical creature. Their appearance varies in myth and changes through time, from the hybrid of various animals, namely the elephant, horse, stag, and boar, forming creatures as small as a baby goat, up to the white horse-like majestic beasts we see today in the royal coats of arms. One thing they have in common is a single horn. Though written descriptions of the magical beast can be traced back centuries ago, from Greek historian and physician Theseus' work, Indica, in 400 BC, to Julius Caesar's Hussay, they could be found in Hercynian forests in Germany back in 53 BC. It is fair to say that they rely heavily on the tales and information brought by the travelers and soldiers, and they have never personally met the creature. However, there was a recorded encounter dating back to the 13th century between the single-horned beast and none other than Temujin, the great Mongol emperor Genghis Khan himself. Following his great victory against the Khwarezmian Empire, the Mongol forces could easily cross the Indus River into the territory of the Delhi Sultanate in northern India. However, Genghis Khan chose not to do so. This decision had been pondered by historians for many centuries. According to Yelui Chutai, scholar, advisor, and sage to Genghis Khan, when they arrived near the Iron Gate Pass in East India, an animal shaped like a deer, with the tail of a horse, green in color and with a single horn, spoke to the imperial bodyguard, saying, "Your lord should return early." Yelui Chutai, who served in Genghis Khan's court for 6 years at this point, told him the creature must have been sent from heaven above to warn the great emperor. Genghis Khan took this as divine will and commanded his army to turn back. If this event was indeed real, then perhaps we can say that the unicorn saved India and from the deadly force of the Mongols. To the ancient Celt, an animal's physical characteristics and behaviors were highly respected and admired. Unicorn represents independence, purity, bravery, intelligence, and the fierceness of a warrior. Proud, difficult to tame and conquer, much like the Scottish nation, and perhaps the reason why the magical bees were chosen to be the national animal. Legend also tells us the horn of the unicorn can purify poisoned water, and some even attribute that to the purity of the Scottish water. This myth makes unicorn horns precious goods, costing more than gold. Some believe Mary, Queen of Scots, used the horn to test the food for poison while being held captive, and by her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I. The powder of the horns was sold in several London pharmacies until the mid-18th century. And those were never the horn of the unicorn, but mostly from novels. On the death of Elizabeth I in 1603, King James VI of Scotland ascended the throne and became the first Stuart King of England. Now, King of Scotland, England, and Ireland, and the symbol of the majestic English lion was incorporated side by side with the Scottish unicorn, and the royal coats of arms of Ireland was also added. Note that the unicorn used in Scottish heraldry are always shown wrapped in gold chains, even before the union of the crown, and perhaps to illustrate the power and skill of Scottish kings, that they were able to tame the untamable king of the beasts. Today, unicorn symbols can be found across Scotland, from heraldic shield by the gates to the palace of Holyrood House, HMS Unicorn, one of the oldest warships in the world, various castles and cathedrals, to the murdered crosses all over the country. You might even find them in the parks or pubs while strolling about. Centuries on, the fascination with these magical beasts is still going strong. They are symbols for a certain community, start-up companies, modern slangs, and so on. We see them in fashion, artwork, literature, movies, and TV shows. Avid Harry Potter fans could tell you about the unicorn hair-infused wands, of how Voldemort consumed the magical creature's blood to extend his half-existence, or the famous The Lady and the Unicorn tapestries adorning the walls of the Gryffindor's common room. Most recently, unicorns appeared as ambrosia-loving kings of the bees in the latest Shazam movie. Similar could be said about the lion and the unicorn symbol. They are, of course, on the cover of the British passport, and 2 lions and 2 unicorns with a Maltese cross serving as a symbol of the Order of St. John. The art of both animals was also widespread in Russian culture of the 16th and 17th centuries. George Orwell published an essay in 1940 titled The Lion and the Unicorn, analyzing the situation in wartime Britain. Lewis Carroll also incorporated the heraldic symbols into his classic novel Through the Looking Glass. In Neil Gaiman's 1999 novel Stardust, Tristan and Yvonne witness a lion and a unicorn fight over a crown during their travels. And my favorite? An episode of Batman, the animated series, with Red Claw kidnaps Alfred and Frederick, seeking the launch code of the nuclear ballistic missile, a Project Excalibur. And the password? You guessed it right, the lion and the unicorn. Is there a designated day for unicorns? There sure is. 9th of April is National Unicorn Day, and an annual 3 days unicorn festival during the month of July took place in Leonardo da Vinci's hometown of Vinci, Tuscany. As Lewis Carroll wrote in Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There, "Well, now that we have seen each other," said the unicorn, "if you believe in me, I'll believe in you." The unicorn remains a beloved and fascinating creature in modern times. They live vividly in our imaginary world. So, for now, we can be sure they are far from at risk of extinction.